Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here on Echo's Reloading Chamber, and we have been messing around with a new RCBS Summit Press, which you see in the camera view there. I've been messing around with another camera. Now I've got two cameras, so I've been messing around with that a little bit. And I sent some links out waiting for a couple of guests to come on. But if you are doing absolutely nothing on this Friday night and you are bored to tears, please come and join me. Jump in here with me. We will chit chat, shoot the shit, and try to make each other laugh a little bit. Looks like I've got one person in the audience watching, two now. So who's all out there? Who's out there in the audience? Bringing it home from DeBerry to the DMZ. Echo on the microphone until dawn and then some. I will be breasting it down for you, breaking it down from the southern shores of the Gulf of Mexico to the northwest shores of Crap City, Seattle, Washington. Looks like Clover stopped by. What's up, Clover? Uncle John, what's going on? Have I ever cast 224 projectiles before? No, I have not, but I can tell you if you're using too fast of a rifle twist rate, they will never fly right. They will come apart. The 22 caliber 224 bullet needs to be in a relaxed 1 in 12, 1 in 14 twist rate for it to actually perform with any accuracy and keep the bullet from coming apart when it comes out the barrel. I've seen them come out of suppressed guns and take baffles with them, because basically you're using guys that are using 1 in 7, 1 in 8, 1 in 9 even twist rates, and they're shooting a 55 to 60 grain bullet, and they're just blowing them to pieces, even with a gas check. I would definitely recommend you gas check them and push them no faster than 2,000 feet per second out of a 1 in nothing faster than a 1 in 10. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding about Seattle. Nobody really can choose where they grow up at. It's like your parents. You can move later on if you've got the money and the grit. I'm going to call it true grit, because moving across the country is kind of like pulling your nails out with a pair of rusty pliers. It's never any fun. And CloverTac is very, very correct in recommending the Lee Classic Turret Press. It is one of the few turret presses that actually eliminates deflection by having the entire turret, instead of tilt like the all the other ones do, the Redding, the All American 8 Lyman, all of the turret presses will deflect and they tilt, and they've got anti-tilt stops that are on one side of the press, so that when you run the ram up and you're taking out the slop out of the linkage and the top turret tilts, it is actually straight up and down on a 90-degree angle. So if you're reloading ammunition and you're not taking that a little bit of slack out of the deflection on the turret, you're not getting a true alignment. Where the Richard Lee designed his turrets so that when you push up on your ram against the bottom of a die, it lifts all 4 dies in the 4-hole turret. The whole turret goes straight up and hits a locking block. And that keeps the turret totally square in the turret press and doesn't let it teeter to one side or the other. It goes up about maybe a 32nd to a 16th, light 16th of an inch, hits solid stop plate, and it locks the turret on a 90-degree angle so that the ram and the shell holder is lined up to the bottom of the die perfectly. And I've got thousands of dollars worth of stuff, and I'm getting ready to buy an RL 1100. And I still, if you look here on my bench in that picture, you'll see I've got a Lee turret right in the middle. Yeah, Clover. Basically, when you're shooting cast lead bullets out of rifles, you're not going to be able to push those things past 2,000 feet per second. You just start stripping over the rifling at that point. The bullet will jump, and that's what, with quick rifling, like what I was saying before with the 223, when you fire it, instead of going and spinning with the rifling, it just basically goes across the top of it and giving you a nice chunk of lead in your bore. And the bullet, usually by the time it comes out the end of the muzzle, it's coming apart in pieces. So that's the problem when people try to get in and push those bullets harder than 1,800 to 2,000 feet per second, and with fast rifling. You use a nice like varmint rifle that's got a 1 in 12 or 1 in 14 twist rate. You can throw a lead bullet through it all day long at 2,000 feet per second, and you can hold a 3-inch group at 100 yards. But you'll see guys that are loading these 223s, and they say they're junk. The molds are junk. They're I'm having bullets come apart. I'm having bullets, not even hit the target at 50 yards. And it's just simple, basic. The bullet is so lightweight because there's not enough lead there that you run into what I call a hypersonic speed. And anytime you do that with a lead cast bullet, if it's not hard as hell, it's not going to stay in the rifling grooves. It's going to go right across the top of them. And anytime you get that with a small piece of lead, it starts breaking up and coming apart. You can see it with the bigger calibers in zinc. If you push them too hard as well, they'll crumble. Uncle John, I need grit, never moved. I need grit, never moved, but I have to now. Yeah, it sucks. My advice to you, Uncle John, is us men, we like to be alpha males to the day they close the lid on our coffins. And I've come to realize with dealing with diabetes and a lot of health problems, if you can afford it, hire yourself a moving company. They come out, they're insured, they're licensed and bonded. They come out, they move your whole house, break it down, wrap it in padding and plastic. They put it on their truck. You can either have it stored for some time if you're not moving right away, or you can have it sent to the house that you bought or rented or leased. they'll unpack it for you, your wife, or you can just tell them where you want the stuff. You point and go. That's the easiest way to move. I've moved out of the country multiple times. I've moved across the United States multiple times. And I live in Florida. And I tell you what, I've moved here a bunch of times. My dad used to be in the Air Force, so we would move every few years to a new location. And I tell you what, it's so much easier just to have a truck come out and get all your stuff, and all you be responsible for are your personal stuff, your guns, because you don't want to have them moving guns. You can have them move your safe, but if you're bringing guns, if you're bringing them across the country, I would say ship them to an FFL, the pistols, ship the rifles to yourself, as long as you have an address there. You can address them to yourself from yourself, and that's legal, but you want to check your local law, because some states have a little bit of weird things on that. But like here in Florida, like if I want to go hunting in Missouri, I can send myself my rifle and ammunition in a box, as long as it's second day air through UPS or FedEx, and to the hunting location, and then I can send it right back to my house after the hunt's over. And it eliminates you have to travel with a firearm and worrying about somebody in the airport seeing that big sticker on the side of your luggage that says this is a firearm, and you getting robbed. And basically through the mail or through the UPS or FedEx, you have the ability to insure it for twice what it's worth. So if they do lose it, you've got everything covered, and they basically pay you out within a couple of weeks. Don't send anything United States Postal. They can take up to a year before they'll pay you. Okay, we got 5 on. Lead Mining 44. Welcome, sir. Leaving Linwood, Uncle John. I got a brand new Uncle. What is this? Okay. Just a condo you need to sell. Sounds great if you can afford it. Yeah. Yeah, small pistol primers, you can't find them. Yeah, and if you do, they want $200 for 1,000 or better. I seen some retarded stuff. I've got probably 9,000 primers that I started a collection of what I use. I reload for a couple of guys that are hunters, and I reload a lot of 308, 7mm 08, 7mm Mauser, 8mm Mauser, 30-06, 45-70, 6.5 Creedmoor, and I do a lot of that. You've been begging Uncle Jim for what? Primers. Yeah. You can actually find primers. I don't know exactly where you live or what the situation is with buying primers where you live, because some places like California, New Jersey, New York City, it's a pain in the butt no matter what you're trying to do. Let's see here. DJ Plain Eyes. G is wrapping up the wrap up show right now. Quick, he linked your show. He linked the show. So he dropped a link to my show in his. Oh, well, that was very nice of G. He's a good guy. He really is. He does a lot for the Second Amendment community and for all of us. Yeah, I'm hoping that one of my good friends makes a special appearance tonight. He's been out of circulation lately. He's had a lot of things going on at his house, family matters, the whole 9 yards that everybody gets a big dose of crap every now and then. Let's see. Oh my God. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, lunatic. You got to be a lunatic if you're spending $450 for $30 worth of primers. Yeah, that kind of stuff. See, I don't mind paying a slight price increase because they're hard to get right now, and people have to make money. And if they can't get the products they need to sell to make money, capitalism is a wonderful thing. It works both ways. If there's an abundance, we get deals where they're trying to give them away damn near. So they're not stuck with them on their shelves and they have a risk of them going bad. Um, but in times like this, if you don't have your stock up, like I've got 5,041 CCI 41s. I've got a couple thousand CCI large Magnum pistol primers. I've got probably 500-600 small rifle primers, just the regular CCI 400s. And I've got 5,000 of the 41s, and I've got some large rifle primers, but probably not a lot, probably 500 or so. But yeah, I have hundreds of small pistol, like maybe 200 and maybe 300 small pistol Magnum. The only good thing is I can use small rifle primers if I have to, in small pistol Magnum or small pistol. I can use the 41s or my small rifle primers. It's just you're going to have to adjust a little bit down for the hotter spark. I'll pay $100. 100. I'll pay 100, but not 450. Oh wait, laughing out loud. No shit. I don't mind paying $100 because people have to make a living. And if there's not enough of the product going around, they've got to make more off the limited product they have available to sell. So I understand that. But these guys that are asking $450, these are trolls. These are people, they're doing the same thing with video cards right now. If you want a video card, like I'm looking for an NVIDIA 3090, which is about an $1,800 video card, 24 gigs of RAM. And they should be around $1,800. If you can find one, they're going now for $30 to $3,600 for one. And it's because of the mining they're doing for the Bitcoin, and because of COVID and the shipping from China has slowed down, and the people manufacturing over in China have slowed down because of the coronavirus. So it's all that. The bottom line is they are coming back. I've seen primers come in to Midway USA. I think they were asking $79, which isn't bad, but it just sucks because they only limit you to one box, and then you got to pay hazmat. And by the time you're you're over $100 for a box of primers. But I mean, I'm just gonna keep waiting, and when I can get 10,000 small rifle primers, 41 CCI, I will order those. I will order 10,000 small pistol, 10,000 large pistol, 10,000 large rifle. I'll get 50,000, 60,000 primers, and I'll get them brought here, and I'll vacuum seal them with the little um, pellets in them, and I'll store them in a cool, dry, dark place, and they'll be fine. You just gotta, with humidity like we have here in Florida, primers do not last but a couple, like maybe 3 or 4 years sitting out in the humidity before they don't go bang anymore. I use CCI because I've had the best luck with them. I didn't stock up good enough, brother. I wish I would have, if I would have had 10,000 of each primer size, and I could help the guys out here on YouTube that are subscribed to my channel and friends of mine, and have them just pay the shipping and the hazmat, and and I'll write down their name and what I gave them, and when primers come back in, just send them back to me. I wouldn't even want money. I would just want to cover the shipping and the hazmat fee, and you replace them when they come back in stock, or you can get them for $35 to $40 for 41s per 1,000. I wouldn't expect you to pay what they're asking. Later, Uncle John. Thanks for stopping by, brother. We've only got 3 in the house. So my guess is Lunatic's here. I'm still looking. There was supposed to be a couple people stopping in, and I'm guessing that they are not going to stop by, but I'm not shutting down because there's nothing going on. I don't think there's anybody else going on right now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go over to the press, and I'm going to start reloading a little bit, or I'm going to start sizing some brass. And try to get this RCBS over here to actually start making less noise. Okay, so those are the brass that I already did. Those are already ready for a bullet. Yeah, these are ready for bullets. Okay, so I know what I gotta do. Okay, that's what I gotta do. I had a small error with some brass that I did. Of course. Alright. What I'm doing here is I'm just using a Tupperware, throwaway Tupperware deal that I've used for doing this kind of thing. And what I do here is I take it. This is Lee case lube, and I just put a couple of smears across the bottom. I like Lee because it doesn't mess with primers, nor does it mess with powder, and it's cheap, and the actual product is specifically used for drawing brass. So when they're making brass cartridge casings, they actually use this product. They just buy it in a 10-gallon bucket because it's cheaper that way. Alrighty, got that in there. Looks like that's did a nice job. Basically, what you're looking at.
Call from Nicole Secretive.
Oh my gosh, my wife is calling me. She is obviously not happy. Hello? Yeah, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to bother you. Yeah, so I guess I made her a little upset. So what we're doing is we're resizing this brass because what I had was an issue when I was setting up my expanding die, and the issue I had was the expanding die that I'm using went too far. I put the case too far down into the expanding die, or up into it, and that caused the brass to get the neck of it to get a little cockeyed. So basically what I'm doing is I'm reforming it, and then I'm going to re-expand it, and that should give me 0 neck run out, or a 0.5 thousandth, whatever, something real minor, which would give me a hell of a lot better accuracy, sub MOA. But that's what we're doing here. And I'm trying to break in my press a little bit. It's making a horrible noise, but it's turning out quality ammo. It's just rough. And the more I use it, the quieter it's getting, it seems, but we're going to use it to make sure before, because I'll call RCS, or I'll call Graf & Son, where I got this from, and I'll have them replace it. But I definitely am getting an RL 1100 because I really want to be able to turn out this ammunition at high speed with the same quality. I mean, if I can get, it's not going to probably be the same as this. I'll probably have a little bit more run out. But if it goes bang and still shoots sub 1 inch groups at 100 yards, I'm there. check to see what's going on. How long do you think this primer thing will last? This primer thing, guys, is we're probably looking at about another year of it before we start seeing primers readily available to purchase again. I would say about a year. And wow, that one was really sticking there. But about another year, I think, this year, because what's going to happen is we're going to get attempts on gun control until Biden either dies or is done his sentence of 4 years of trying to demolish this country. And basically, after that, he is going to be on his way out. And because of the damage he's done, a Republican is almost guaranteed to be elected. And with that election comes probably Trump again. And I wouldn't be surprised if DeSantis doesn't come in it as well. And if DeSantis tries for president, he may very well win, because this country has a lot of Spanish American people in it. And their percentages are actually higher than African American percentages in this country. So the bottom line there is, you have the Cuban people, who I've got a lot of respect for that live here in Florida, and they're anti-communist 110%. They escaped communism by floating on a banana crate raft through shark-infested waters to escape communism. And I've been those 90 miles on the Atlantic Ocean, and let me tell you, that is not smooth sailing. That is rough water. It's hot. It's dehydrating. It's miserable out there if you don't have basic life support needs like water and food and a stable craft to even be able to eat it off of. They're on, imagine you on a rubber raft in 9-foot, 12-foot seas, trying to eat something, sick to your stomach from being on it for the last 6 hours, being completely sunburned, just to escape communism. That should tell you right there all you need to know about communism being gay and sucking. Nothing against people being gay, but communism is horrible and what it does to the people. And if we keep messing around, we're going to find out firsthand just what it's about.
to see where that noise is coming from. But yeah, that's what we're trying to do, is eliminate freedoms in this country through stupidity of uneducated people. People that have never had to work hard in their life for anything. That's what is causing this problem. It's what's causing these shootings in schools. You got somebody that's busted their ass their whole life. The last thing they're going to do is throw it away and go and hurt people. When you're happy, you don't want to hurt nobody. It's only when you're sad. And what's caused all these people to be sad is because they haven't been brought up right by their parents. Parents today want to do everything for their kids. They want to baby them to death, and that's what they're doing. They're actually, they're literally babying their children to death. Part of life is joy and heartbreak. Hopefully, you're able to have more joy than heartbreak. But the heartbreak is very important because it teaches us to appreciate the things that make us happy in life. And if you have been spoon-fed bullshit your whole life, then you don't know where the happiness comes from. You're just mad at everything. And being mad at life is the easiest way to destroy yourself. And I'm just a guy sizing some 5.56 223 ammunition here. It's not like I'm Dr. Phil or anything, but I've been on this earth for 50 years now. And it hasn't been an easy 50 years. But compared to some people, they would walk in my shoes in a heartbeat. And I'm not talking color of skin or any of that bullshit. I'm talking about being sick since I was 7 years old. But there's kids out there that are worse than I am. And there's men out there worse than I am. And that's what I remind myself of every morning when I get up, is I could be so much more fucked up than I am. I'm glad.
Call from the Gold Separatist.
Jesus, my wife is not leaving me alone. Hello? Okay, well, I was reloading, so I'll stop. Yeah, it looks like the old lady has had enough of the banging back and forth. This press, I'm guessing, is, I'm not sure why it's banging so much. See if I can keep it from banging. Okay, that's not banging. In that case, Okay, it would appear that I can actually do it like this as long as I'm real super quiet. This is like reloading in Anne Frank's, the store that, Anne Frank, the Jewish girl that hid from the Nazis in an upstairs attic. And I guess that's how quiet I gotta be. I don't want the Nazis to hear me reload. I think that would release a little easier than that. But it's pulling on it. Looks like it's straightened everything out, so that's good. Check something. Well, we got 4 out there. Let me see something real quick. Trying to see something on the back of this press. Scraping. Definitely scraping. Make a little of that noise about. I'll go through and lube all these connections. That's all I can do. I don't think it's that. I think it's pivoting on the RAM a little bit. That's why it's digging in. That's the thump she's hearing. So what I'm doing here, folks, is I'm just redoing these 50 pieces of brass so that I can tomorrow do the next step and go ahead and I'm probably gonna go ahead and I'll dry tumble them and get all the gook off of the outside. And then what I'll do is I'll rinse them out with cold water and throw them in my Lyman dryer. And then what I'll do when I'm done with that is I'll go ahead and throw some primers and maybe some powder tomorrow and go ahead and load these. I've got 100 rounds that I can load. So you seem to be turning all right. Let's see, is anybody? Nobody showed up. Boy, that's great. I guess everybody got a little too much. Live chatting tonight. People, either that or they had other shit going on. Usually I always catch some late folks. I've got a few on here right now. Let's see what everybody's saying. Oh, let's see. I've got 5 people on here. That's even more than I thought. Nobody commenting. Oh, it's Sergeant. What's he doing? Sergeant Devil Dog. I am here. Hey, brother, if you want to jump in, I have a link on the YouTube side pinned in the top of the chat. If you guys want to come on and hang out with me. Who is this? Heading back to my yard, listening in. Okay. First time. What you doing? What I'm doing right now is I am resizing 5.56 brass. That's mixed head stamp, and I'm expanding the mouths of the cartridge casings using an expanding mandrel out of a Sinclair die so that I can get exactly 1/1000th of an inch neck tension. And then what I'll do is I'll use a Lee factory crimp die on it after I seat the bullet, and I get really good standard deviations between shot to shot that way. There's absolutely single digit numbers, and this is on range pickup brass. I put all this ammo in a big Ziploc bag in a 30 caliber ammo can, and I take it to the range and I'll shoot 7 ARs, and all of them will shoot under 1 inch at 100 yards with this ammo. And guys will look at me and they'll be like, well, does reloading actually help? And I'm just like, grab a handful of this ammo and shoot it in your rifle. And they'll shoot it and they'll be like, well, yeah, this is like match ammo. And I'm like, that isn't match ammo. Look at the head stamps. They're all different. That's my ammunition that I load from range pickups. God knows how many times one of these pieces of brass have been shot. And it's just bulk ammo that I throw in a can, and it's all under 1 inch at 100 yards. And people are like, then they start talking, well, this reloading thing, how much does it cost? And I'm like, well, it can cost you quite a bit. But the bottom line is, it's a hobby in itself. And in times like this, if you already have the equipment, it makes it a heck of a lot cheaper to actually shoot, because a lot of people aren't even able to shoot right now because they can't afford ammunition or they can't even find it. This makes it so you can make your own and not have a problem. The press I'm using right here is the RCBS Summit press, and I just got this today, and I'm kind of breaking it in and seeing what this press is all about. I like it so far. It's rough. It's got a rough spot in it, but it's starting to quiet down a little bit. And it's sounding more now like linkages rubbing a little bit. So I'll probably go through it with some mineral oil and just touch up all the linkages that have mechanical parts and things in there, spring spacers and stuff. All that stuff rubs and causes friction and binding. The only thing they lube is the actual ram, and then they use like a Vaseline on that. So what I'll do is I'll use a 20 weight oil, Slip 2000 pure synthetic, and I'll go over all the pivot points and I'll put a little bit in there. And go ahead and make sure that the ram has got Vaseline all over it, because it's basically, they use a stickier version of Vaseline at RCBS. And it's basically just to keep the parts from rusting while it's sitting on the shelves. I'm trying to really see what happens with this piece of brass. I want to take this handle out, and I want to see what it's like with the full length handle, see how hard it is to actually get it to. I imagine it's going to be a little easier with the extra added leverage length. See, this is what sucks for me, because lining up things is really hard. Okay. Didn't really want that to slam down like that, but whatever happens. We're getting her done. She's going in there now. All right. Another piece of brass. Yeah, that wasn't very hard at all. Let's see how hard it is to. Yeah, that's much easier. They give you the long handle with the press, and basically I guess the short handle is for seating bullets, and the long handle's for, actually resizing brass, and that makes kind of sense because it gives you a little bit extra leverage there, and it's much quieter in operation. Still, when I'm pulling up, it's kind of sticky. Oh, it's not that bad. Wonder what it's going to feel like with like a 308 or a 30-06 piece of brass in there when I'm coming back off of it. We'll have to see. What I'm going to do here is look at this. Looks as if look. Make sure this thing doesn't slam down because that could damage your dies, your mouth on your dies. Making some headway here. I should have had this longer arm on here from the get-go. Makes it so much easier, especially on pulling up off of the brass. Let's see what's going on over here. 6 hanging out. Let's see who's hanging out. Sergeant Double Dog. First time. What you doing? Heading back.
To my you are listening. Barnaby Sanchez, what's up, brother? What's up, guys?
Just doing a little late night brass sizing. I see what's going on. I see, says the blind guy. Wrong size. Alright. Got a little bit of movement in my press plate, and that's what my wife is hearing in the other room. And that's okay, because Dan made exceptions for the press plates. And by doing a smart thing, he put a set screw in the top of the quick change plate mounting surface that you can just tighten it up. And I believe that flex is gone now. So no more bumping around, shaking and making. Because you know, if you're doing ammunition, you gotta shake it before you make it. You know, you gotta shake and bake. Oh yeah, it made a big difference. Oh yeah, that made the press secure. Really nice. It tightened up the movement, that I was getting a little bit of movement in the press. Now I'm not. You gotta shake it before you bake it. I was coming back from Amsterdam with my wife, and we were coming into the Miami International Airport, and I was watching that movie with Will Ferrell where he was the NASCAR driver, Ricky Bobby. And you guys may laugh, but I grew up with a kid that was named Ricky Bobby. And I always was like kind of confused about his name when I was real young, 5 or 6. I was like, how come he's got 2 first names? And my mom's like, oh no, that's common in the South. And I was like, if it's so common, why haven't I heard about it before? And well, long story short, the kid ended up him and his brother ended up getting in a bunch of trouble when they were a little bit older. And I think the one brother ended up in prison for like 25 years or some craziness for doing some stupid thing. I can't even remember what it was, but it was like one of those crimes that you can't believe the person got that much time over. It wasn't like he hurt anybody. He didn't hurt anybody. It wasn't drugs. He got caught doing something. And I can't remember what the hell it was, but it was like, we were all like, he got how many years? And it kind of scared us all because we were like, damn, don't be doing that. And I can't remember what the hell it was, but it wasn't a serious crime. Nobody got hurt. Nobody was injured. Nobody was even robbed. I can't remember exactly what he was doing, but it was something to do with where he was at, if I remember correctly. And basically they charged him for some other crime. And, I remember what it was. He was peeing. He went to a party, got drunk. He was like 18 years old. First time really getting plastered. Liked the girl that was throwing the party. He liked her, the girl that was throwing the party. And he didn't want to be embarrassed, and he was getting sick, so he was going to go out, get it sick outside, so that nobody saw him throw up. Well, after he threw up, he had to pee. So he just, like most men, whip out their genitalia and start peeing. About that time, the cops show up and shine a light on him, and he gets, with his penis out, and basically didn't realize it, but he was standing on a school for like the mentally handicapped, and the judge threw the book at him because it was a handicapped school, and the judge, they found out, had a handicapped daughter, and basically he ended up with some 18 or 20 years of state prison for peeing where he shouldn't have been peeing. Alright, so these are all ready now to be expanded. We do that on this press right over here. Oh. This camera back over here. Pan it right around. Let me see what we're looking at here. We go a little bit more to the. Let's see if that's gonna get it. Yeah. Basically what we have here is we have a Sinclair expander die. This is a Lead Classic cast turret press, 4-hole. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run these. Let me steal the shell holder here, because that would have sucked. You run it in there like this. You run it up. Grab a little expansion. That's all you got to do. Expand that bullet a little bit, or the brass a little bit. What I want to see is, let's see, what do I have? Some 223 just sitting. Let me see over here. Some Hey James, what's going on? James, there is a link in the side chat on YouTube side if you are interested in coming on to shoot the shit. If not, no big deal. Just extending the invite to you. Trying to find some 22 caliber bullets. These are definitely not. This thing's weighing like 6,000 pounds. With these 20 cal, 30 cal. Got everything I need except, well, I got 22 right here, but we can go. What is this? That seems like. These are 73 grain. These will work. These are ELD, I think. 73 grain ELD match. That's what these are. Trying to get it so you guys can see. Basically, I'm just checking how this is expanding. These ferociously expensive bullets. Oh yeah. Yeah, that'll work nice. That's the whole bottom going in there. Let's see this. Crazy. Let's see. Just checking to see how tight these bullets are going to be. There should be only 1,000th of an inch of, because this bullet is a 224 diameter. This expanding expander ball that is free floating inside this Sinclair die helps keep this net concentricity within 1,000th of an inch run out, which transfers over to the bullet and basically opens it up just enough to put 1,000ths of neck tension on it. And what we do is we'll factory crimp it. If I was doing this for a bolt gun, I would set the depth of the bullet and I would leave 1,000ths of neck tension for the total neck tension. It sounds like I have a buddy that wants to come in here. You can come in here. My little gorgeous cat. I'll throw this back up in here and see. So that's what we're doing. We're just expanding bullets on a free-floating expander out of a Sinclair die. That's what I'm doing. Well, I thought some more people were going to jump on here with me tonight and do a late night chat, but I would guess I was mistaken. But if anybody wants to, like I said, if anybody wants to jump on here and just shoot the shit about reloading or what they got going on in their project that they're doing at their house right now, that's cool as well. Seems to be doing it. People are probably like, have you lubed the inside of these necks? Yes, the inside of these necks were lubed with dry graphite. Once before, I did this. I did this once before, and I ended up having the ram going too far with the piece of brass into this expander, and it bottomed out and caused the neck of the case to kind of go off a little bit, like 0.02 of an inch, and it was enough to drive my OCD to redo them all. And now I do this. Hey girl, what is it? You know you're the cutest cat. My little Pookie. Probably get more subscribers if I had a cat channel just on my cat. Me and her could do reloading. Everybody's like, dude, I don't want to watch any more cat videos. I'm like, you haven't seen my cat. She's super. She's meowing too. You can hear her all the way out there. Yeah, my wife is gonna love that. Witchy, and she's like really meowing loud too. It's ridiculous. Let me see what these are concentricity at. Let's see what these pieces of brass are throwing me on the concentricity gauge now. right, that turned out to be 1.5 thousandths.
Let me get a sound check. Can you guys hear me? Oh, Uncle Jim is there. That cat. Wife thought so too. What did he say? Lead. What did he say? Lead mining. Lead mining, Uncle John. Fibs will never leave. Uncle Jim, there is a link in the YouTube side if you're interested in coming on and talking to me. About the Venezuelan refugee problem we have down in Bogota. Everybody's like, what the hell is that? Okay, so we've got a couple of these. We're gonna check run out. Actually, this brass, the only thing that needs to be cleaned is the insides of it, so I might just brush it and say to hell with it and leave the, because I've wiped these cases off so many times now that they're so shiny. Alright. What is going on here? James, Uncle Jim, can you guys hear me out there? How's my audio? Oh, it looks like Uncle Jim is here. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hey.
What you up? You there, stranger?
Forgot you were doing another one tonight.
You up late taking care of the missus?
Yeah, we're just trying to get our cats in. Good thing they weren't inside when they heard your cat. They'd freak out.
Oh, really? They hear another one?
Yeah. If I want to get Leon to behave, I'll do a sound bite of a cat that sounds like that. He'll go crazy. He'll look out every door, window, get all territorial. That gets him off of our case.
You're like, you mess with me, I will mess with you
But
right back.
if he was inside, oh, he would have freaked out.
Yeah, she likes to make these meows that are crazy, like long meows.
Yeah, like they're ready to fight kind of meow.
Yeah. She gets mad at me because I'm in here messing around and not out there with her where she can lay on my lap.
Yeah, it's funny how they all have their own personalities.
Oh, they're just like people. She's one of the best cats I've ever had. She is super, like, she doesn't like separation at all. Like, that's the only thing. I think like, something happened to her. We adopted her and rescued her from PetSmart. And in the morning, she'll stand there and she'll watch me or my wife in the shower. And as soon as we get out of the shower, she's in there looking down in the shower. Something happened where maybe her owner passed away in the shower or something, because she's totally freaked out when we're in there. As soon as we get out of there, she changes personality like at the drop of a dime. She's real super tense when we're in there and running the water.
Huh.
But she's not scared of water. She will get like when I give her a bath in the sink, she'll jump up there and she takes a bath. She's not the happiest cat, but most cats aren't. But she just stays there and lets you wash her and everything.
Yeah, it doesn't claw you to death. Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
ours are.
I think it has a lot to do with how the people that own cats, just how they act towards things. I've noticed some people that just probably shouldn't have children or animals. The cats always seem like they're a little freaked out.
Mm. Yeah.
So what have you been doing?
Went down to the loading room for a while. Almost took a nap. Nothing much. I'm afraid to touch anything today. Just one of those days. Don't touch anything. It's really hot here.
What temperature are you up to?
90s.
Oh wow, you're hotter than here. It's 75 degrees outside right now.
Yeah, it's hot here. So it's gonna be hot all week. Now they're saying there's kind of water shortage. What? I still got snow on the mountain. Usually this time of year tells you it's okay. Mm. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
That sucks.
Yep. I think I saw on the news that we're supposed to all pray for rain. Well, we're not getting it this week.
Yeah, it rained in every area. Like it rained 2 blocks from my house, but it didn't rain here. My wife was like, we need rain. And I'm like, well, I don't practice rain dancing, so. She didn't find that funny. this ammo's 1,000th or less on run out. That'd be some good Lincoln ammo.
I got bumped.
It's okay, brother.
I looked over and I was like,
I clicked leave instead of chat to see what the chat's doing. So I left. Damn it. Hate when I do that. Yeah, I'm not digging the heat at night. I don't have air conditioning. It's only, so many months in the summer you got to worry about.
right.
And it's hot. There's no wind. Usually there's some wind.
Right. Because you're up in the top of the hills.
Yeah, so it's nice and cool at night. But right now, no.
Are you got any humidity from the rain, for the snow?
No, it's dry.
Okay, well that's good.
Only in my armpits.
Hey, that's okay. You can take a shower here in Florida, and as you're drying yourself with a towel, you notice you're sweating. It's not water. You're actually wiping sweat off of you because your body's up to a hotter temperature.
Yeah, I lived on the East Coast for a while when I was younger. Same thing. Get out of the shower and it's just sweating.
Yeah.
So what are you loading?
I'm just doing some 223 for plinking.
Okay, for some reason it looked like 357 maximum for a minute there, but I'm just looking at the necks, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically what I'm doing is I go through and I run all my brass up into a die without an expander, and I get anywhere from nothing to 1,000th run out, and then I run it up in this Sinclair expanding die that's got a free float 223 bushing in it that expands it to 223. It gives me 1,000ths neck tension, and then I sink the bullet down and I get almost perfect concentricity, and then I just use a factory crimp to throw a moderate little medium to medium heavy crimp on there with some Barget powder, 25.2 grains, and I get sub MOA every time. It doesn't matter what the brass looks like as long as I don't throw it away because it's got a split neck, or it's just been like run over by a golf cart or something, and the head of it's crushed.
Yeah, there's lots of golf carts in Florida.
Yes, sir. Everybody's got one to go out to the range to go pick up their targets. I'm like, dude, you should see these guys. They've got like 10 grand in their golf carts, and I'm like, you could buy a hell of a nice rifle for 10 grand. And the guy goes, wait till you're my age. And I'm like, I'm 50, I still walk to the target. I'm like, now if I was out in the hills, that's a different story. We gotta walk up hills and soft sugar sand and stuff like that, then that's different.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're walking on sodded grass and you need a golf cart to go on flat land, and not just a regular golf cart, you got to get the fancy one that looks like a Rolls Royce with the front end on it. I'm just like, these guys, there's something wrong with them.
I always wanted to do a lifted one.
That would be fun.
Go open the gate with it, don't have to start up an engine.
Yeah, just a little putter, putt around the property, check out everything, not scare any wildlife off or anything.
Yeah, take the governor off of it. They go pretty fast when you do that.
Yeah, we used to do the ones down at the golf course. That was my private Catholic school that I went to was right on the golf course. And if you were on the golf team, you would go out to the deal, and you could literally, we had our own little walkway. We could go on to Dubstred Golf Course in a College Park, Florida. And we used to go over there, and then they started letting us out to go over there and golf, and that's when we started wrecking golf carts. And they were like, hey, you can't use the golf carts anymore. So we had to walk, and we were like, boy, that sucks. Now we got to go out here and walk. Learn your lesson, though.
Yeah, I've been to Miami before, and coming down on the plane, everything was golf courses.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking down, and there's golf courses everywhere.
Yeah, Miami's like set up for that's where they do a lot of the PGA people come down there to vacation. And the thing is, a lot of people when they retire, they go and they golf. And I don't. I used to golf in high school, and I used to play with my dad and a couple of his fireman friends and stuff. But I never really got into it because I was just like, it just seemed kind of silly to me that these guys spend that amount of money on golf clubs to follow that little ball around and pay all that money to rent a golf cart and to do all that. And you only see a girl every 2 or 3 hours when they're out selling alcohol on the golf course. And I was just like, I can see more girls at a dance club. I was like, at a football game, you've got cheerleaders. There's something wrong with this sport. There's no women in it. And I was just like, I figured it out from a young age that it's an older man's sport. To get away from the wives is what it is. And if you've ever gone with older guys golfing, they're always talking about their wives and shit that their wives have done that drove them nuts. And I'm like, listen, are you out here to escape your wife? I'm like, then why don't you shut up about her for 10 minutes? I'm just like, it was funny, but it was very true though.
Oh, it's expensive too nowadays.
Yeah. It used to be you could go out and you could spend $14, and if you had a used set of clubs, you could go out and play golf. Now, they want you to have the special shoes to get on the course. You have to have a pair of, like, I think the cheapest ones are about $50.
Spikeless, probably spikeless now.
Yeah.
You're at least $100 a pop on a course, one of those courses.
Yep, and that's walking.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, in the humidity and the heat, you do not want to be walking anywhere.
And then those girls on the booze carts are constantly. Then you got another 50, at least $100.
Oh there. Yeah, it's 100. Yeah, it's 100.
Michael Sides is here.
Oh, he is. Awesome.
Yep, and then you eat in a clubhouse. There's another 60.
Oh yeah, and then you're gonna have another drink because it's the 19th hole. And there you go again with the tip, and then somebody's going to pick up a tab, so you're going to have to start a tab. By the time you get out of there, usually it's a couple $300.
You'd have a pistol or a rifle by the time
Yes, exactly my point. I was always like, dude, you could just have a pistol or a rifle. What are you doing? And everybody's like, oh, it's so much fun. I'm like, dude, you're getting plastered. You're avoiding your wife. I'm like, and no matter what these guys did, it was always the same thing. It was like it involved them avoiding their wives. You know, it was never like um, it was like alcohol, some other guys, some kind of sport, and no wives. So I was just like, you guys would be good just to start a club and call it like the No Wives Club. And I was thinking, and I'm like, yeah, you guys could call it No Ma'am. Do you do you remember Al Bundy when he had the club called No Ma'am?
No.
Oh my God, dude, we
No.
gotta start this. I'm telling you, Jim, for all us guys that reload and do all the shows and stuff, we have to get No Ma'am shirts. Um, it was the guy next door, Steve, and it was Al, and they started this club called No Ma'am, No Ma'am, and they all had shirts, and they would all meet up at Al's house once a week, and they would be talking about going to the nudie bars and boobies, and Al was talking, and they would just go on for like 20 minutes, and it would all be about No Ma'am, and then a wife would show up. And it's like, how come every time we're having a No Ma'am party at your house, a wife shows up? And he's like, I don't know. We're going to have to get to the bottom of it. And they started some like club in the basement of their house. And it was funny. And it went on for a month or so, where they were all meeting up over there and drinking in Al's basement. And it started getting to the point where one of the guys had like a girlfriend or something because he was divorced, and he started bringing her around, and the girls, they all got jealous, and so they started like wanting to come in and hang out and ruin Dallas' whole No Ma'am party thing, and it was just a riot. That guy used to make me laugh, because it was so funny to watch the dysfunctional family, and nowadays it's like I think families are worse than on that show with these crazy. Could you imagine raising a boy and having him tell you one day, hey, I'm going to start dressing like a girl, and you have to be okay with that and be like supportive and all that stuff? I would have a hard time doing that. I'm just being honest. It's crazy.
Let's see. Sergeant Bulldog and Sergeant Devil Dog both said they remembered that show episode.
Yes, it was hilarious. Old Al Bundy. Al Bundy was hilarious.
Let's see, you've been on here an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, just hanging out, seeing if anybody was up for a late nighter. We got a few people out there. So, what do you have any plans on doing some reloads or doing any shooting, or is it just too hot? You don't want to get out there in that baking.
Yeah, I don't like it in the baking. If I do shoot, it'll be in the afternoon when I'm in the shade of the house in the back,
You don't have a wall unit in your bedroom, your master bedroom.
Wall unit.
Yeah, like an AC that goes in the the window unit.
No, they didn't have any. They didn't put air in when they built the house, and they were a retired couple. And there's really no perfect place to put one. So.
Somebody's joining us. Bulldog.
Hey. There he is. Hey, Sarge, what's up?
What's going on?
What's going on, Sarge?
Hey, still hunting for your 9mm seat and die.
Oh yeah, if you come across one, that would be most appreciated, man. If
This
not,
whole
no big
week I've
deal.
been suffering with migraines. So
Oh hell. Hey, did you have the COVID?
no.
Are you sure?
Well, no, I'm not sure, but
Okay, this is what I found out. I've been in the, I'm sick. I've got a lot of medical problems. I was in the hospital about a week and a half ago for a couple nights, and my nurse, she was my age. She'd been a nurse 27 years. She got COVID, and she's been getting migraines for the first time in her life, and they're pretty bad. She's like has been sick from them, like nauseated sick. They're so bad.
well,
And
I've been
Yeah.
suffering from chronic migraines since prior to all of
oh,
this
okay,
COVID.
okay,
So we've been treating me with all kinds of different things.
Okay.
And one of the things that we just tried was a nerve block and steroids in the back of my head. I've been doing Botox.
yeah,
Um,
that's supposed to work too.
it does, but it only works for so long,
Short term, yeah.
and they can only give it to me every 6 weeks. So um, they tried a new procedure, a different procedure on me, and they went in and they injected and did a nerve block in the back of my head,
Man.
and tried that, and it had little to no effect. But it's going to take about a week and a half to 2 weeks for the steroidal effect uh,
To start,
to start.
Steroids have to build up accumulated in your system before they can work.
Just don't
So
let them give you Botox in the lips. No, that's gotta suck in the back of the neck. Oh my gosh.
Actually, you don't. The back of your neck is not as painful. That skin and stuff. I
Hmm.
that to me, unless you're going into scar tissue, that is when it gets painful. And if they're injecting it in between your vertebrae and you have no cartilage left there and scar tissue is there because of that, that is not an enjoyable experience.
No,
well,
it doesn't sound good.
with the Botox, what they do is they do all around my head, and then they do across my shoulders, and that um, for a period of time that eases up on it. But I got all kinds of messed up shit. So, but it's okay. Nobody's shooting at me. Nobody's trying to blow me up. Life's good.
Yeah,
Life's on.
yeah. My dad, he was a fireman. He had a lot of ceilings cave in on him, and wearing an 80-pound outfit and backpack and all that shit. And basically, he had his vertebrae collapse. I guess is what it is. It's when your vertebrae collapse on each other,
Mm-hmm.
and he had um, to get a titanium cage put in his. They opened him up in the front. They took out his stomach, liver, and guts, and then once they did that, they went in and put long, look like pieces of titanium all thread, and those went into discs that bolt to the tops of the disc. And when they adjust them, it takes the pressure off of the disc that's crushed or is slipped. And he had that, and it's called a spinal fusion. And
I,
my wife had it about 4 years ago, the exact same operation, and she wasn't a fireman and weighs probably less than half of my dad when he had his surgery. She's about 125 pounds soaking wet, and basically her back is all messed up too. She has a lot of issues with it.
Jeez.
Let's see if I can do this. So I'm in my little darkness because I'm not feeling so great. But let's see. Okay.
Other way. Yeah.
There we go. All right. That's my lower back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got some extra parts in there.
There you go. That's my most recent spinal. That's 8 screws. And then this thing right here going up is a spinal cord stimulator.
Yeah.
So instead of using drugs, I use that to control my pain.
Yeah, it shocks the nerve endings, which makes them temporarily short out so that they can't transmit pain to your brain. And basically, it shorts out certain parts of your nervous system that way.
Yeah, what it does is it just, everything runs through that central cortex.
Right.
So, let's see. I'm trying to do this where I'm.
It's amazing how they still use hardware store stuff,
Yeah.
Screws, all thread.
Oh, you should see the components they use to actually tighten up things. It literally looks like a Milwaukee or if it was a bright color instead of stainless steel, you would swear they were using Home Depot tools.
It's the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, it just costs a whole lot more because it's got to be autoclavable.
Yeah.
I found this thing at a thrift store, and it was stainless or nickel coated, but it had gears on it. You can unwind it, and it had these 2 things. It's like, what the hell is this? I could make something out of this. It's pretty cool. So I bring it home and I look it up. It was a chest spreader, a rib spreader thing.
Yeah.
At a thrift store.
Yeah. Somebody it used to be, Uncle Jim, you remember this. It used to be if you had surgery, say you had a mole or something defective on your body and you had to have it removed, whether it was internal or external, you could have the surgeon put it in a specimen jar and save it in formaldehyde for you.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Everything gets put in a disposable tank that they pump out as a biohazard.
Now they got to send it off to have it checked to find out whether it's malignant or not.
Oh yeah. If they're doing a biopsy, yeah. But if they're removing bone spurs or something that they're trying to make your pain better because you have an abnormality in your spine or your back, or they'll go in and they'll grind a piece down, or they'll take out a spur. And when they do that, it's basically you end up with looking like you've been worked on by the Midas Man. Yeah, I can see pins running down.
2 screws and a plate.
Yeah. Now I had to have that one redone 6 weeks after the procedure because we were rear-ended in a vehicle.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
And I literally had a diagnosis of a screw loose.
You have a screw loose.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! I'd be like, you're lucky I've got my back is all messed up because I would want to beat somebody to death if they loosened up a screw that close because you hadn't even healed yet.
Well, it sheared one of them off, and then it loosened the other one off. So they had to back them out, um, go in, operate, and pull one of them out. Or pull both of them out. But they had to go in and use larger hardware and go back in and resecure them. But so I officially have a diagnosis. An official diagnosis of a loose screw, just in case anybody ever wants to know.
No,
My
do you?
question is, do you have an? Did they use an easy out? How the hell do they get?
I was not awake for the procedure, but I was just real happy that they were able to fix me up.
Do you pass through a security machine, whatever you call it? Metal detect.
I've got because of my spinal cord stimulator, I've got
Card.
I've got a card that says that um, I can't go through metal detectors,
Yeah, the airport
Yeah.
stuff. Okay.
but
You
I'm
can get
getting ready
one.
in July. We're taking the control unit, the battery out. This battery I have to recharge every couple days, and the one that they're going to put in is I can't right now. I can't have an MRI because of it, but the one that they're putting in is MRI friendly.
Mm.
And
Yeah, there's no metal in it.
well, it does have metal in it, but it's the metal, the composition and everything else. It's not so much that it's what it does to it when the MRI is going on that they're afraid of, because it fries the the goods inside, and it will send a possibly debilitating jolt through the system. And
Mm.
that's the biggest fear with the MRI, um, because the lead actually goes up and sits right on top of my spinal cord at the base.
Right.
Um,
So if you got lit up,
yeah,
it's going to shock you and literally, like a stun gun, put you on the
right.
ground,
And it can burn out it can literally burn out
burn
parts
out
of
the
the spinal
machine.
cord.
Yeah.
And this new one won't. Um, but at present, I'm having they think that a lot of um, my existing um, the migraines that I'm having now um, are due to more degeneration in my neck, but they can't MRI the area. All they can do is do like a CAT scan or a X-ray.
Right.
So they're gonna in July they're gonna swap out the battery, and then I'll be able to have my X-ray or my MRI, and we'll be able to look at it a lot better and see exactly where I'm getting additional nerve impingement. But that's all from when I was on active duty and got hurt.
Yeah. MK Joe was asking, does the stimulator work? Can you see the chat?
No, I can't see the chat, but let me do this. I'll
He
pull it up on.
he said, "Wow, how effective is that stimulator?" Question mark. I have titanium in C3 and C6 myself.
I am C. Let's see. Let me pull up the chat on my phone. Um, that's going from C6 to S1, and it is the spinal cord stimulator is 100% effective. I take zero narcotics. I went from debilitating doses of narcotics to no narcotics except for post-surgical.
So you're on no opiates whatsoever.
Zero opiates.
Well, that's fucking worth its weight in gold right there.
Definitely.
Because those opiates, they change your personality, they change you as a person, they cause problems with your old lady. Everybody I know that's been on that shit has ended up in a divorce or something horrible like that. My father, he went through a divorce on that shit, and I just think it's overprescribed. I mean, if you got cancer, if you can't get out of bed in the morning without eating a pill because you're in so much pain, I understand. But don't tell me just because you had root canal surgery that you need to be on roxycodone or oxycontin or Percodan or Percocet or all this shit. I don't even like taking baby aspirin because I don't like pain pills. They make me nauseous.
Right.
And I can take pain. I tell you what, I'm a big sissy when I feel like I'm going to vomit.
And yes, I do have residual nerve damage. I have neuropathy.
Yep, I've got it too.
You know that, and that's just because of
Nerve damage.
yeah. I mean, I've got when you've got bone on bone sitting on top of nerves, yes, it's damaging.
Yeah, what happens is, just so the common person in the audience knows what neuropathy is, picture an electrical wire in your house. It's got a copper center, and it's got an insulating shielding of some type of polymer plastic that shields the wire from other things in the wall, other wires, and things like that. Well, neuropathy is where that shielding starts to deteriorate and your nerve endings start cross-firing in between each other. And literally, I'll have my hands, if I've been working in the shop all day long, or if I was when I used to turn wrenches or work in towing, I'd work with my tow truck all day long. I'd get home at night and my hands would ball up into fists, and they hurt, they lock like cramped, and I would have to undo my fingers and put them flat on a dining room table and push down, sometimes put like encyclopedias over top of them, because the neuropathy in my feet and in my hands like that. Now it's in my gut, so I have to take special digestive pills so that my guts work, because diabetes destroys nerve endings. And I've had it for 44 years now.
Well, thankfully, I don't have diabetes, although everybody, I take metformin. And
Yeah.
you see the metformin. I take metformin for metabolic syndrome.
Yeah, you don't process food and sugars fast enough because your metabolic rate is slow for your age.
But every time that somebody in the medical profession sees that, they automatically go, "Oh, you're diabetic." No, I'm not diabetic. But as far as this spinal cord stimulator, I have different programs that I can adjust, and I can tell it to hit different spots. It is fantastic. It's kind of like it's like a TENS unit in a way, but we've got different things for it to do different different areas and different patterns and programs.
Right.
Like I can have an undulating program that sends different patterns in, and when my body gets used to that particular thing,
You mix it up.
I can change it up.
Yeah.
Well, they're finally starting to understand that nerves are electrical wiring, and they operate off of proteins and acids, and basically that's what forms the spark. And if you can numb or paralyze that nerve ending from doing reporting to the brain that it's suffering injury, you're basically electronically sidestepping the pain. And that's where we need to be. That way we don't have people walking around like walking zombies, drugged out of their minds.
Well, I've used Eastern medicine type, you know, martial art type pain management for years and years to tell myself, okay, this pain is a temporary thing. Work past the pain, move on, because it all, if you think about it, it's all working through a central nexus going into the brain. And if you control what's reaching the brain, the rest of it is just, it's just a central conduit. And, if you choose to recognize or choose to ignore what's getting there, as long as it's getting there, you can ignore it. It's what's not getting there that, most people, and like people that are paralyzed, that's where they have the problem. But for pain, the ancient, the people in the East have, notoriously, taught themselves to ignore, kung fu, work past the pain. But
well, it's discipline. They master arts of being able to control the body, and I'm a big believer in it as well. I think that we contain the ability to heal ourselves from serious illnesses. I think that most of us don't have the understanding or the knowledge to make yourself able to do things. But I've seen, women pick up cars to get their children out. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking 135, 140-pound woman pick up the side of a Toyota Corolla to get a
and they
child.
have babies too.
Yeah. I've seen some stuff that just there's no explaining it. It is what it is. And I think that once we start getting more into understanding what causes pain and injury, we can then start understanding how our bodies can repair itself. Now, of course, there's things that you can eat, drink, and stay away from certain things to make you better. But if you do that along with the routines that are a lot of that Indian and Chinese and Indonesian type of healing, it does work. I'm a firm believer of it. I use meditation to help me a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
And it does work. You can't just learn it overnight. It's something that takes years to really get good at. But you can block things out of your head, and in turn, thinking about them make your body fix itself. I don't know really how to explain it, but I'm able to think about like my kidney function, and I'm doing everything I can medically and home pathogenically to make my kidneys work as best they can. Also, positive attitude and thinking positive thoughts about kidney function. And maybe you don't understand how a kidney works, but it takes out toxins. You start eliminating toxins out of your body through natural detoxifiers and using spiritual healing. You wouldn't believe some of the things that I've heard of people being able to do that are way sicker than I ever was and ever will be, and they were able to live with it, and in some cases um, uh, put cancer in remission without chemotherapy, which is natural stuff and lots of positive energy and thought. And yeah, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you can wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up first. And I'm one of those guys as well. But the bottom line is, I've seen things that I don't have a scientific explanation on how that happened, you know?
Well, it doesn't take a scientific explanation if you're part of the living proof.
Yes, sir. I do agree. Wow, we got 10 on now, guys. We're picking up pace. We're picking up people.
All right.
MK Joe, what is this? Do you have residual nerve damage? Anybody that has back damage has residual nerve damage because you cannot heal nerve endings. They do not regenerate. They do not actually repair themselves. It's like electrical wiring in your car. You get a wire fire and you yank the entire bundle, what they call the wiring harness, out of the car, and you buy a used one or a new one and you replace the entire harness. Not fun on a full size Mercedes Benz.
The VA has been working on some stuff where they're using they've done some stem cell stuff. They're also using some new technologies with some electronic stuff, and they're in some cases they're teaching some different neural pathways for people that are paralyzed, and they've actually gotten them to go from being paralyzed to being able to walk again by having their bodies recognize new neural pathways. But
yeah, I have seen some of that where they're jumping. They're using okay, it's just like a house. Your arm, okay, from where your brain is, it comes down your spine and it comes off your shoulders and goes down into your arms, your clusters of nerves, and goes all the way down. That's why they tell you, if you try to commit suicide, always cut up and down when you're cutting, so that you don't cut left and right across, because that cuts nerve endings. And if you live through it, because somebody finds you, you'll never be able to use your hand correctly again. You'll be basically retarded in your hand. So the way what I'm getting at is this: if you've got 30 different pathways that are going down into your fingers from your top of your shoulder, one of those pathways shorts out because of neuropathy. The shielding on the cluster of nerves is disintegrating. Why not use one of the other dozens of clusters or highways to push that same signal down? That's what he's talking about. And that is the basics to understanding nerve pathways and how to, before long, they should be able to isolate nerve pathways and start designing artificial ones. And that's when you'll see people that have never been able to move their toes or their hands or anything be able to get up out of a wheelchair and use a bathroom for the first time in 30 years.
I will say that's one thing that I'm very thankful of is that now that I'm not on opiates, my system, the opiates were causing me to have more problems
Oh yeah,
um, as far as you know, just
being regular.
everything that's associated with opiates.
Yes.
Um,
Well, everything in your system is works off of nerves. Everything. And the biggest nerve in your body is your brain. Basically, when you do opiates, it retards nerve function. And that's what it does because if you can't feel pain, that nerve ending that is transmitting is not being heard by your brain. But it's being heard, but it's not being, it's like you feel, the pain's there, you just ignore it. It doesn't bother you.
no, in answer to the question in the side panel, they're not teaching the nerves. What they're doing is that there are nerves that basically run parallel to nerves that are no longer functioning, and they're getting the electrical impulses to flow and teaching the body to recognize that those pathways are functional. Um, it's like, you if you have an area that's that's dead because a nerve got cut. There are other areas all around it that have nerve endings. It's just that particular neural pathway that your body's accustomed to using to direct the signal back into the brain is
not able to recognize it. What
right.
it's doing is just like he knows, because muscle memory in the military. Okay, this is just something so you guys understand. It takes you doing a specific thing 1,100 times before you become muscle memory to that particular function. All right. Now, if you've been taught incorrectly how to do that same function, it takes your brain 3,500 times of doing it the right way before you override that old muscle memory.
Yeah, before you unlearn the bad.
Unlearn the bad. So basically, what they're doing is they're facilitating. Okay, when you say pick up a pencil, you don't have to tell which nerve endings in your body to fire up to be able to get your fingers to grab a pencil and bring it to write. You just say, that's what I want to do, and your brain does it. What they're doing is they're starting to retrain people to use other pathways to get the exact same job done that they were using the damaged pathway since they were born. And it's basically retraining them muscle memory through electrical impulse therapy to learn those pathways can be used for the same function. And you never really get 100% right now of them being able to use a different pathway. There's always um, little glitches and where you get a nervous tick or something like that. That's what they're going to be working out in the near future, where we're going to be able to go into nerve clusters and put an almost like a relay and tell that nerve cluster that now you're grounded. So now it's an identifiable nerve cluster that your brain will recognize to use to make your fingertips move under with dexterity. You relearn everything over. It's like relearning how to write and everything again, but it's giving people another option. And I think that's cool as hell because the more we learn about the body, the better it is for everyone, even people that are healthy.
Uncle Jim, are you still there?
Yep.
You haven't said much.
Well, yeah, we won't want to say much either if you're sitting under a fan sweating.
What are you sitting under his fan sweating for?
It's hot. Actually, I was brushing the hair off the cat. He's probably hot too.
Yeah. Cats they like heat. Uncle Jim, I tell you what, they like heat. They are originally from Egypt.
Desert. Yeah.
Yep. And
They were once gods, and they haven't forgotten that.
Yeah. My cat, she likes it at around 79 degrees in the house. And if you put it down to 75, like my wife likes it at night when she goes to bed, my cat gets cold and she'll want to cuddle in the blankets with me. And she's very demanding. I'm surprised she hasn't bursted her way in here demanding snuggle time. She must be up in bed with the wife.
Well, three out of 4 of our cats sleep on the bed with us, and one of them sleeps next to the bed. But that's our cats. I should have said instead of they were gods, they were once worshipped as gods, and they haven't forgotten.
Yeah, but they still are. I haven't met a cat owner that I used to make fun. I grew up with dogs. I had dogs my whole life. I raised golden retrievers, German shepherds for a long time. I never had a cat until I met my wife about 15, 16 years ago, and she had 2. And my 2 golden retrievers, one died of old age, one got hit by a car, unfortunately. And I kind of adopted her second cat. And I kind of fell in love with her. She was a cute little tomcat, little Tommy. And she had pink face with the white and gray and spots. And she was just the cutest little thing. And we lost both of them, unfortunately, within about 3-4 months of each other. And we rescued this one from PetSmart, and it said extra loving on her cage. And my wife had seen her the night before and didn't tell me about it. And then she's like, hey, listen, I'm coming to get you. I want to show you this cat. And I'm like, I don't really want to look at another cat. And she's like, you need to look at this one. So we went down there, and as soon as I called her, she came over to me and started licking my finger in the cage, and I was pretty much hooked. And I asked the little girl if I could have her out and play with her a little bit, and she was like, yeah. So she let me in the little room with her to play with her, and my wife went to go pay for her and adopt her. And when I got done playing with her, I was like, Nicole, I really want to get this cat. And she's like, we just did. Let's get some food and stuff and go. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? And she peed all over me and pooped all over me on the way home. First night, she marked her territory. And ever since then, she's been daddy's little girl. And it makes my wife so mad because she'll call her, she'll, make all kinds of little noises, get down on the floor trying to get her little toys to come over. And all I got to go is go, baby girl. And she'll come right over and jump in my lap. And my wife is like, damn cat never wants to come over to me. And I'm just like, she's a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
And Uncle Jim, he's got Leon. He's a cutie puss.
Leon is in. I gotta get Minnie in now.
Minnie isn't in yet?
No.
She doing the old play, like I'm gonna come in, but I'm not gonna come in type thing.
Yeah, well, no, she'll just stand there and stand at the door. It's like, come on, quit instantly. Leon will do the play thing.
Oh, okay.
Unless he wants in, then he's a streak. You open the door, you don't even see him. He's poof. But at night, yeah, you got to play the game with him.
Well, ours are predominantly inside cats, except for Zoe, and she wants to be outside briefly on her terms. She's like, I'm going outside. I'm going to eat me some grass. I'm going to look around. Oh, I don't like this outside anymore. Let's come back inside.
It's always funny because they want you to like man the door, waiting for them to come back. That's how it's always been with my friends' cats. My cat's inside only, but with my friends' cats, they'll be like, they'll go outside and they'll stand about 10 feet from the door, and then they'll stand there, and I'm like, I'm waiting to see what my friend's gonna do, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna close the door, because I close the door, she'll be meowing right on the front doorstep for 10 minutes, and like I gotta wait here for a minute or two and let her pee, and then she'll come back in, and then she does the little pee, and then she comes back to the front door, wipes her feet on the little floor mat, and then goes inside, and it's so funny. He's like holding the door for her the whole time.
Well, we also have a dog, and our dog is a Boston Terrier and Beagle mix, and we have to keep her on a chain, because if we don't, she'll be gone for 3 days at a time running. She's a runner, and she wants to run all over hell and high water, all over the property. And unfortunately here, in southern Louisiana, we've got, snakes and, all manner of, of critters that, like to eat her size animals.
Yeah.
And so, we keep her, close at hand. But the cats, or Zoe in particular, it'll be like, okay, you're gonna let the dog in or out? Let me see if I can zip through. She'll be like, boing, I'm out. And now she's determined that, okay, I can do this, but I really don't want to be out here, especially now that it's gotten hot. So, but they're lovely. And then KP decides, okay, you're out here, it's time to play. You're going to be out in my neck of the woods. Let's play. Let's have fun. Time to tussle. And then they'll get in the house and they'll start tussling.
MK Joe, he's asking, so they are teaching nerves that had other functions to do the functions of the nerves that have died. Yes, basically what they're doing is they're making it so you can use other clusters of nerves that are going in the same direction, that are hooked up to the same muscle and bone, so that you can use different neurological pathways to get the same effect. So basically, it's like your Cat5 cable line going back to the telephone pole is old and it's wore out, and the shielding on it, when you bend it, it sounds like popcorn in a bag, then basically we're just taking your neighbor's cable, Cat5, that's going 20 feet to the left of it, and we're running basically a jumper to it.
Yeah, your orange white wire went out, so we're going to use his orange white wire instead.
Yeah.
No, you agree?
Was that a cat?
Yeah.
Was that a cat?
Yeah, that was
I thought I heard a little cat or a little mouth meow.
Yep, he agreed.
Yeah. No, they're not reviving the old dead nerves. When a nerve dies, it is very much like an electrical wire that has burnt. It's done. There's no saving it after that with the technology that we have to us today. There's no way for that nerve ending to conduct an electrical current anymore because it's lost its shielding around the outside. So when you send a signal to it, instead of going down that pathway, it just goes out in all directions around it where the shielding isn't there anymore, and it's making contact with other wire clusters that are other nerve endings, and basically causing those nerve endings to have an interruption. And it can actually cause you to have a muscle spasm in your arm occasionally when they short. It can cause you a lot of pain, which is what people call neuropathy pain, a burning sensation where it feels like your feet are on fire in your shoes or in your gloves or in your hands. It's bad. It gets in your back and it feels like your back will lock up and it will burn. And if you've ever had a cramp where your foot locks straight down from running or something, it's every once in a while you'll get them when you're young, and your foot will lock straight down and it will hurt so damn bad while you're trying to force it level. And if you've ever had that pain, that's what neuropathy feels like. Are we getting boob shots? What's going on there, Jim?
No, I was just going to say I'm going to go to bed or attempt to sleep.
Okay, well, I hope you get some rest there, buddy, and try anything, man. Try taking a shower and keeping your hair wet and get underneath a fan.
Well, yeah, I got a fan set up, so that'll work. But thanks for having me on. And
Hey, not a problem, brother. We'll be around tomorrow for your chat as well. So I hope.
I can't do one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Are you gonna have? Who are you gonna have do it?
I don't know. Tin Man said he might be able to get home and do it. I'll ask Julio. So just keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, if you need somewhere to do it, dude, we can do it over here. If you want to do it on my channel, I'll let you know if you want to come over and do it and set it up. That's fine. I'll give you a spot.
Okay, I'll see what's going on. And
yeah, if Julio doesn't want to do it, because I know Julio usually does it, but if he can't do it or he's got something he's got already planned, then you're more than welcome to come over here and do it, for as long as you need. And if Tin Man wants to take over when he gets home from work, then that's fine too. I'll just help you out as much as I can.
Yeah, and the problem is a lot of people aren't going to know because I can't announce that it's somewhere else. I can't upload anything on.
After last week, they might not let us play on your. I
don't know. They didn't strike me for that. They struck me for a video that's obsolete. So I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
They're just messing with you. That's all they're doing.
They just killed that live before it ended. But
Look, I'll take the hit on that one, Jim, for Garage
no,
Pop.
we were all playing, and we do it every week. So it was just Mr. Troll having.
One of the trolls just got
they reported it.
Yeah, that's all that happened was because, all it takes is one guy to click on it and says, one of those,
report.
Report or whatever it is. And they check it and they see guns out on a table and they're immediately going to pull it. It happened to somebody else. I can't remember who it was.
Scotsman.
The Scotsman had a firearm out, and they just shut his whole chat completely down at the minute that they saw it.
Well, they didn't shut us down until right there at the last.
Yeah, it was almost the 8-hour mark. And
I was watching for 6 hours, and then when I got off, it must have happened right after that.
I looked up and the screen was black and it said this video has been removed because of policy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, while we were still chatting. They just took it off YouTube,
Oh, okay. So you were still chatting. You were just off backstage.
We were off the air on YouTube, yeah. So
right.
Yeah, but it hadn't been too long. I mean, it had been only a few minutes. Because I had, I was outside in the shop, and I had my, I had the chat part up on my iPad, and I had the rest of it up on my TV monitor, and I could see everything else going on, and it had been. It had been going on, YouTube wise, paralleling us. And then all of a sudden, like right after Jim said something, it was like, bloop, gone.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So either they didn't like what Kenny was doing, or
whatever they stumbled into at the time, yeah.
Right, whatever it was, they saw, didn't like it, and they just took affirmative action. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But I was, I did pull out a couple of my little 22s and did a couple of garage pops.
Yeah, but we do that every week,
Yeah.
Kenny shooting or showing guns, it's America. So
I launched some freedom seeds.
But yeah, I should have disputed their strike they gave me because of the circumstances. They said I was advertising. I wasn't. It was a video they already removed. So how did so anyway.
Yeah.
I should have disputed that. I'd probably be back on by now because they'll say, oh, well, yeah, it isn't there. Duh. But they would have caught me for something else. So I'm just waiting out the week.
Yeah.
I got it with Jim too, so that's all right.
Yeah.
Wait, it came back afterwards and struck you?
Yeah, the next day I had a strike for a video that they already deleted from me.
Well, that sucks. I didn't realize
it was on a single cavity mold. And they were saying I was advertising, and I never advertised to put links to some kind of product.
These people are just getting way too far out of hand.
It's just stupid, really. But
yeah, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting to the point where you can't. I mean, it's like, it's really infringing on our constitutional rights. Even though it's their house, they can play their rules any way they want.
Well, yes and no, in my opinion, because if you look at it from from one aspect, they're putting themselves out in a public domain.
Yep,
And
and
although they are
I know
they're
where
a
you're I
private
know where you're
company,
going. I know where you're going. Yeah, I agree with you. They're a public domain.
And
They
they take advertising money.
Yes, and they also have the rights and protections to protect them against any type of lawsuit.
Which they shouldn't have.
Well,
Yes.
not if they're going to be, they should have it as long as they let everybody have fair speech and say what they want. That's what that's for. That's so that
well, how can you have a damn jihadi, showing American troops getting blown up and killed, okay? And that's acceptable. But Americans, doing, recognizing and showing our Second Amendment rights, that's against the rules.
Typical double standard. There's so much smut on YouTube that should be gone with, but
oh yeah, if you're doing porn, that's fine. God forbid somebody show you a gun on a live stream.
Yes, especially feline porn, kitty porn.
yeah. And what really bugs me is a lot of people don't know what happened. So, there's like 60 people that know about the other channel, but there's a whole lot more that don't even know. So it's just I'm not posting videos right now. They don't know what's going on.
Right.
So they'll have to come back and explain. I don't know. Or just carry on. Anyway, good night, guys. I hope you feel better, Sarge. Get rid of those headaches.
Look, like I said, I may hurt, but I'm alive. Nobody's shooting at me or nobody's trying to blow me up. I'm alive. Nobody, life's good. It's just perspective. But thank you.
Okay, and then good night, Echo.
Yes, sir. You have a nice evening, Uncle Jim, and I will see you around tomorrow. Let me know. Text me if you need to, use my channel or whatever to get you. If not, I'm gonna leave a video out as soon as I find out where you're doing your video to get you a little bit more people.
Okay, I'll let you know. If
All right.
if anyone says they're already thinking about doing it. So okay.
All right, gentlemen, have a nice evening. Thanks for coming out, and thank you everybody in the side chat for stopping in.
Oh, you're going to? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. You guys take it easy. Thanks for stopping by.
All right. Good night.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
Not a problem, Sarge.